everyone. Welcome to the first edition of the Headlocks and Happy Hour Wrestling Podcast. Coming to you live from the Wrestling Watering Hole. I'm your co-host, Chris Morris, along with my two buddies, Mark Scheck, Joe Scheck. The brothers Scheck are with me. And first things first, being we're at the bar, which is one of my favorite bars ever, from the Watering Hole, we got to order a drink. So Mark is our bartender, our host.
All right, what's everybody want?
All right.
I'll take a Coors Light.
Joey likes a Coors Light. And I will have a Miller High Life, the champagne of beers. Talk about wrestling. I don't know if you get this in here, but this is the Nature Boy Ric Flair coaster, the official Nature Boy Ric Flair coaster that is the official coaster of the Watering Hole. Cheers. Can I have a glass too, Mark?
Absolutely.
One thing about this place, you never go hungry or thirsty. It's also brought to you by Love Shack Barbecue. If you go on Instagram, Joey's a bit of a complainer. He wants a fucking small one now. Yeah, so this is, oh, there we go. There we go. Cheers. Cheers, Joseph. Joe's 75 with his little glass. And Mark's drink, what are you drinking, Mark? Mark is drinking Miller Genuine Draft.
I'm also an old man.
Cheers, here we go.
See? Nature Boy. Woo!
There it is. Woo! The Nature Boy. If he was here, he'd be drinking with us now. But now it's he's probably in bed. Loaded. So, we're going to come to you live each, I think, every other week. Are we going to do, guys? Every other week?
Yeah.
Talking about wrestling and everything that's going on in the world of wrestling. The first things first, you're probably wondering why we're going to listen to these idiots talk about wrestling. Well, because we have a big-time background in wrestling. We've been wrestling fans forever. These guys are 45, right?
45, yeah.
I'm 21, so we've been doing it for a long time. So we've been really, really into it. We're going to go around the room. We're going to start off. We're going to go around the room, and Mark's going to start off. We're going to talk about our history in wrestling, how we got into wrestling, any great stories we have of the old golden era of professional wrestling. Mark, you want to come in here a little bit?
Yeah. So, So
how did you get into wrestling?
So I got into wrestling. So obviously Joey and I are the same age. For those of you guys don't know, we're twins.
We are twins.
I got the brains. He apparently got the looks.
He's got the hog.
But I think honestly, so as Chris mentioned before, we're 45, right? So we're children of the 80s. So we grew up at a time where like wrestling was on a boom, right? So at that point, Vince McMahon had started to take the territories away into one promotion, right? So we started with the large WrestleManias and watching those, right? But I remember as a kid, right? It's hard to not as a kid when you're watching, when you stumble upon Saturday morning cartoons and main events and others, right? And you see these larger like characters who are huge, they're muscular, big, they got this crazy clothes, they're loud, larger than life, and it just drew me in. And as a kid and still now, I always liked the bad guys, I always liked the underdog, and I fell in love with the Nature Boy Ric Flair. I thought he was the coolest thing in the world, coming down with his suits, talking about wearing his Rolex, showing up with limousine, riding, jet flying, kiss stealing, wheeling dealing, son of a gun. I thought I thought the Four Horsemen was the greatest faction of all time. So yeah, it just kind of more from there. And then honestly, like as a kid, right, you never really can sit still. And the fact that wrestling was constantly changing, something always different happened. Characters evolved, new people came in, old people went out. Gimmicks changed, right? You could see one character be something one week and the next week they weren't. It was just, I was mesmerized as a kid and I was hooked and just been a fan ever since.
And when did you say it grew up with us? So it grew up with us. So we were younger. It was for the young kids, really, when we were younger. It was for the superheroes and all that stuff. By the time we got to be in college, it became the Attitude Era.
Yeah, that's a great point. Like at that point, like when we come into our, I mean, obviously you're younger than us, right? But when Joey and I were in our early 20s, right, you came into the fact that the Attitude Era, right, like Stone Cold now is fighting with his boss. We're trying to get real jobs, right? Now we're now we're going to bars and they're bringing the Attitude character where there's still characters on the show that were meant for kids, but they were also kind of evolved with the times. I also think the cool thing at then too was you always had growing up when we were kids, right? You always knew your good guys and your bad guys, and the Attitude Era kind of blurred the line.
Yep.
Right? You didn't just have your good guy, you had a good guy, you had a good bad guy, you had a bad guy, you had a bad good guy, and it kind of really went from there.
You had a porn star.
And a
The
porn
great
star.
Val Venus.
Yeah, Venus, absolutely.
Which I never watched before.
Well, and then you had a pimp, the Godfather.
The Godfather
Yeah.
with those.
Yeah.
Didn't have that as a kid. The closest we had is gobbledygooker. Joseph, what was your?
How I got into it, I was a big Hogan fan. I remember as a kid doing the pose for my dad on Christmas morning when I got the action figures. I also remember, and you guys will remember too, when it was on Saturday afternoon on Prism.
Yeah, Spectrum Wrestling.
On Prism.
For those overseas watching us, because I know we got a big following over there. Spectrum Wrestling, Prism was a big local thing. Philadelphia guys.
I was a Macho Man, Beefcake. I always thought though, like, it was weird back in the day because you had Gorilla and Monsoon calling with Heenan, and I actually thought they hated one another real because you actually really thought they hated one another.
They played it great.
But,
they were like Abbott and Costello.
Well, like Mark said, it's grown. Like, you get bigger characters now. You get, I don't know if I want to say better storylines, but
Now than then, you mean?
yeah.
Oh. Well, back then you had more gimmicks too. I was a big gimmick guy. So back then you had a lot more gimmicks than you have today. You don't really have, you have a guy coming down in tights or whatever, just using his regular name. But back when I was coming up, I loved the gimmicks. And I got into it when I was the first match I ever saw, Philadelphia Spectrum, Hulk Hogan, Kamala. First match I ever saw live. I think my Uncle Terry, my Aunt Linda, cousins were with me. And we went, and I was hooked. Loved Hogan, obviously. Who didn't like Hulk Hogan back in the day? Still love him. God rest him. But the first one I ever saw when I was a kid, my favorite, a lot of people don't know, was Superfly Jimmy Snuka when I first saw wrestling. And a legendary story in my house was when we were kids, on Saturday mornings, my brother, I had two older brothers and sister, and my older brothers had their friends over, and they're all watching Saturday morning wrestling, and Superfly was on, and all my friends, my brother's friends, egged me on because I was so excited. And I was about six, and I jumped on the fifth step and gave the old "I love you," and dove off, and there was nothing there, so I was just smacking my head on the rug and bleeding everywhere. And back in the day, they had a commissioner named Jack Tunney.
Yes.
Well, we had a commissioner in my house named Mimi Morris, my mother, and she threw everybody out. She threw everybody out, even my brothers. They weren't allowed back until next week. And that's when I saw the great Hot Rod, Roddy Piper, hit Snuka with the coconut, and I was hooked ever since. And I was a Roddy Piper fan ever since. That was my guy. Hogan, Piper, Hogan, Kamala, Jake the Snake, they were all my guys. And I like I said, I was more of a gimmick guy than anything else. And been to, I'm going to brag right now, I've been to 5 WrestleManias. 5 of them.
Fantastic.
Aye.
I've only been to one.
I was there with Mark, and I was there with Joey, too.
Yeah.
5. I've been to 4, WrestleMania 4 at the Atlantic City with my God rest them, my friends the Burks took me. That's when I went, and if you first of all, you've never been, and these guys know too, never been to a WrestleMania, you got to go. It's the greatest time.
You'll never see that many grown men with heavyweight titles
That's
walking
true.
around.
That's the truth. I felt so at home not getting laid because I wasn't the only one in that place. That believe me, but and it was an amazing 4, 23, 25. What was the one in Jersey we went to?
20.
It was in the 20s. In MetLife, the first one at MetLife, and then one in Philly with Mark and my nephew Christopher, my godson. We went, and it's the greatest spectacle you will ever see.
25 might have been one of the best matches you ever seen in person.
That was the best match I ever saw in person.
That was
Undertaker, Shawn Michaels.
Undertaker,
the first
Shawn
time
Michaels.
was phenomenal.
Yes, it was.
So,
Yeah, I would say like if you're watching the show because you stumbled upon it, right? Give wrestling a try, right? Especially a live event, like you will not be disappointed.
The
Of
greatest performers to me ever.
course- oh, absolutely, the best athletes. I mean, you have some athletes today kind of comparing themselves, It's
Yeah.
it's not
Yeah,
the same.
it's not. It's people say, oh, it's fake, and we're going to get into that about the whole fake thing because we did it for a little bit. Not real, but kind of real. But we weren't supposed to be doing it, but we did it. But
One of us here got hurt. We'll talk
yes,
about
yes,
that
we'll
later.
talk about
Yeah.
that in a minute. But that's how. We
Well, I
all.
might have been hurt. I just don't remember yet.
Well, he got his ass beat because I got hurt.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
We had to fill the time. But basically, that's the ring is basically wood with a mat, and that's it, right?
Yeah.
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 There's nothing
And
else.
there's some spring to it, but there's no real. It's not.
Not much give.
It's not
Not
much.
much give.
It's not much give to you take. It's spring on plywood, right? Plywood
Yes.
doesn't really give, and it's
We felt it. Even the ropes hurt. To be honest with you, the ropes hurt.
yeah.
And we did it. It's a charity thing, and I couldn't. I mean, that whole week I was hurting, maybe month. I bruised a rib. We just shouldn't have been in there. We had no business being in there.
We're not trained
I'll-
professionals.
But you know, we got to live a childhood dream.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool. But to Chris's point, probably had no business being anywhere close to that.
Not even anywhere near it. And that's how we grew up as friends. We went to them. We'll talk about our friendship. That's a good segue. Talk about our friendship because we went to the same grade school, St. John the Baptist, in Manayunk, Pennsylvania. And we bonded over wrestling. We would go to Mark and Joey's house, play wrestling Saturday nights, watch wrestling, play video game wrestling. Any good stories do we have? Do we have any good stories of us getting hurt?
We got a lot of good stories. I guess the
most famous one.
the most famous one is, I would like to say that Christopher calls my first wrestling injury, but it was actually my second. My first wrestling injury happened because at the ripe age of 7 years old, I thought I was Macho Man and I thought I could do an elbow drop from the steps of my backyard onto the concrete and broke my funny bone. So needless to say, I was even really a genius because I did it in June, which meant I spent that summer in a cast all year long. That was fun. The second injury that I had was Chris and I had a wrestling match on
Fully clothed.
fully clothed. So our parents grew up in the Roxbury section of Philadelphia, right? My brother and I had the back bedroom of our parents' house where we would push the twin beds together and use that as a de facto ring. The problem with that is next to the bed was a radiator heat that Chris and I were doing a lock, and the script called for me to fall from the lock, and I fell and roll right into the edge of the radiator, splitting the back of my head. So
Wide
you
open.
may be able to see some of the scars in those today for the background shot.
It was bad.
So needless to say, at that point I did not see blood that dark before. And I remember going down and having my mom kind of put a kitchen towel and then rush me off to the ER for, I think, like 3 or 4 stitches.
And I was scared to death because the blood was coming down,
Yeah.
and you know how supportive brothers are. Joey was laughing his ass off.
Yeah.
I was
have-
scared to death. I thought he was going to die. But
Yeah, so needless to say,
he's here.
That
He's
was
here.
our second wrestling injury, and like I said, we made great decisions later in life when we were in our 20s. Go, hey, let's actually do this into the ring,
Well,
which was actually pretty.
We're-
Which
we're-
was fun,
I'm going to
yeah.
have. I'm going to say it right now. This is something we haven't revealed to the public in a long time, or maybe the people that did it with us knew. We were in our 20s and had like a wrestling pool league in Mark's backyard,
Yeah.
and it
Well,
was,
yeah, I
it
mean-
was something that
We had
we're not very proud of.
Yeah.
Because we weren't out. It didn't get us any women.
Yeah. I mean, we did have we.
Mark had
yeah.
scripts. We
We
had
had scripts.
tickets.
We had TV production meetings each week where we would go over the scripts and that. But actually, those pool were an extension of when we were younger. We just didn't have scripts, so we started that as part of our friendship. Joey and I, our parents had an above ground pool in our yard, and we used that as a de facto wrestling rink throughout the summer. So many times we would spend
Into our
the
late
day-
20s.
Yeah.
And I can say it now because I'm 46 and I'm middle aged.
Yeah.
The first Bush was in office. So I don't care anymore.
Yeah.
All right,
it, got,
ladies?
it got a little awkward going out and get a case of beer, only to come back and say, "What are you doing?" Like we're doing the wrestling league.
Yeah.
My first wrestling injury is a little. It actually is embarrassing. did not involve another person. I had a wrestling buddy,
Oh yeah.
the Macho Man Randy Savage. Well, I decided to do the elbow drop on him and didn't realize that the alarm clock was next to the thing. And right here went right through the alarm clock. I have no cartilage in my right ear. I have it in my left ear. So that is my first.
He is the Mick Foley of wrestling.
The comic part about the alarm clock is the alarm clock was actually at the time on the radiator here. So apparently, my parents in hindsight probably should have covered that for us. But they probably didn't realize how, the dumb choices we would make as a kid.
And that's where we are today. We're here now doing a podcast that maybe some people are listening to, some people aren't. Once again, don't really care. We're doing it whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
We're just here
And-
to have fun, guys.
We're here to have
Enjoy
fun
it.
and talk about
Yep.
the wrestling today now.
Yeah, I think so, like, I think
lots
that-
changed.
Yeah, so I think that's a good point, right? To kind of say, like, we've been friends for what, at this point, almost over 40 years,
Yeah.
right? So a long time. So, like, to Chris's point, like, we already spend most of our time anyway talking about wrestling. Might as well put it on video, let other people enjoy it. Hopefully get a sponsor or two, right? Traeger
Yeah.
Grills, Blackstone.
Traeger Grill is Mark is the king of Traeger Grills.
Yeah, we'll take any sponsor. Cigar spots.
Yes.
Yeah,
And also,
whatever.
Mark has an Instagram, Love Sheck Barbecue. Check it out.
Yeah.
Amazing cook, by the way, Mark Sheck. He's an amazing cook. And very, very good. I'm an amazing eater. And we're going to get moving on now, talking about today's wrestling that is so much different than when we grew up. And I took a little hiatus from it. I didn't watch it for a while. Just started getting back into it not too long ago after Bray Wyatt died. Bray Wyatt was my man. I love that guy, and he passed away, and I didn't watch it for a while. But I kind of love what they're doing now. I'll be honest, I never thought I'd see the day when the WWE was not owned by Vince McMahon. I didn't think I'd see anything ever happen like that, but it is now. Today, that's what it is. And I'm kind of mixed on AEW. I don't watch that as much, but I do watch Raw, and I catch SmackDown, and NXT. I just started watching NXT. I love them because they're like the training ground, right? But they're also a show, and they're high flying, they're energetic, and then they bring people back, and I think they own TNA. It's just a different. It's just a different era. It's a different time with social media. They also don't travel as much. They just do the
Orlando,
TVs.
and then they go to like if they're the pay-per-view.
Now, are they staying in Orlando? Because I thought they were consolidating the Performance Center for TKO to Vegas.
That's what I heard. They might be going to Vegas, so
Oh.
who knows? But I agree with you. I mean, NXT. I actually believe that NXT's women are tremendous. They're athletic. Some of them should already be up.
Well, they have beautiful women now. They have beautiful,
Yeah.
and not only beautiful, but athletic. And I'll be honest with you, no offense to the guys out there, but I just think the women are just amazing. I mean, my two favorite wrestlers now are Charlotte Flair and Rhea Ripley. I love them both. I think they're both amazing.
Yeah, I mean that's another thing too. Like seeing how old as we are, like seeing the development of like women's wrestling,
Yeah.
even over the last 20 years.
We had
right?
Moolah.
We
Who the frig wanted to bang Moolah? No offense, Moolah, not wrestler, but we had Moolah.
well, not even that. We
And she wrestled 5
I
times.
mean, how many people? I mean, again, yeah. I mean, how many people went to 9:30 mass on Sunday mornings and went back breakfast at your house and watched Glow on 57?
Oh, Glow, yeah. Glow, gorgeous
So, yeah.
ladies who wrestled. Mount Fuji. That was my girl. I loved her.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just changed so much. And for the better, I think.
Absolutely. I think they're definitely more athletic. I think the storylines are great. Like again, I think I would
Well, I
say to me one
think
of my
now
favorite wrestlers is
storylines
Charlotte
you
Flair.
can do more.
Charlotte Flair's amazing, yeah. What's that?
Storylines you can do more now. I
You
think
can
it's
do-
just like
Yeah, you could do a lot
Yeah.
more with, especially with tape. I like the matches that came out of. Let's talk about Bray Wyatt. I like the matches that came out of the
the COVID.
cinematic stuff.
And then during
yeah,
COVID, where WrestleMania was taped, that match with him and
yeah,
Cena was great. And then AJ and The Undertaker that they taped
Was unreal.
Unreal.
Yeah, I would say like COVID really got me like back into it, right? Like
Yeah.
really like why? And again, like Yeah. I also love the fact that when they did that, that's when they moved to like the 2-night pay-per-views. Like WrestleMania
Yes.
became 2 nights. SummerSlam, like, yeah, I
But
love
do
it.
you think they all should be 2 nights or just WrestleMania?
I think all of the major ones should be 2 nights.
2 nights.
I think the Royal Rumble would be the next logical one, right? The women's on Saturday, the women's on one night, the men's on another, and then have undercard.
I like it on Saturday. That's the only one. I like it just Saturday.
No, I do too.
I like it.
I think going to it, and I said this when we went to the WrestleMania in Philly, going to it, I feel bad for, like, if you want to see your favorite guy and you get tickets for one night and they're not there, that kind of stings for you.
Yeah.
If you,
Yeah.
you know, they won't. Then you couldn't afford tickets to the next
Yeah.
night. I don't think that happened when I went because I think everybody there, but
I would say, like, when we went to WrestleMania, right? Like, I mean, I watched when we went Saturday night. We didn't Sunday night. I watched it at home. Like, I didn't feel.
you didn't feel gypped.
I didn't feel gypped. Like, I think Saturday was just I thought to me it was just incredible.
What was your favorite part of that WrestleMania Philly? Besides me meeting the guy with the mask.
Oh, dude. So
Fat Trump.
honestly, I thought the coolest thing was like, so the coolest thing for me was, so the fourth person that was there was like our dad. So going to WrestleMania with my dad, like,
Yeah, Mr. Sheck was with us. It was great.
That was pretty cool. I just like the whole. I mean, the showmanship of it, right? Like, what I think you really enjoy about that crowd is, like, I feel like everybody gets along. I mean, you
Yeah.
talk to a lot of people online, sports about it. Like, everybody, everybody is happy to be there.
Just
Again,
all us nerds.
It's a little awkward to
Only
see.
kidding.
It's a little awkward to see that many people with championship belts walking around who
Yeah.
somehow don't defend them. But
Yeah, don't defend 'em.
yeah, but I thought, I mean, I thought, I mean, to be honest, like obviously, Cody winning on Sunday night was, I thought
was
that to me, I thought was probably the coolest, but just the overall experience.
Yeah. And Joe, when we went, what was your favorite thing?
Um,
We went to where? Houston?
yeah.
25.
There were a lot of good things. Like I said, The Undertaker, Shawn Michaels was unbelievable.
I'll have another one, Mark, when you get a chance.
But just like, not just the event in itself, just
Us
stuff
hanging out.
around the event. Like
Yeah.
the hotel, that was great.
Who did we hang out with in the bar? Who did we see in the bar? The hotel bar.
Honky Tonk Man and Greg the Hammer Valentine.
That's right. They were amazing guys. They had noticed me earlier because I was dressed as Roddy Piper, but I didn't have the back of the kilt, so my ass was hanging out. But so all of Houston recognized me.
But like you said, like the atmosphere, just the hotel, like you have people doing the woo every 5
Every
minutes.
5 minutes. And Houston doesn't like when you woo, apparently.
No, they didn't.
So apparently the cops come in, and this is a true story. The cops come in
Yep.
and said, there was one of those hotels that had the balconies going around. You could look into the lobby. And the cops come in and they said, they announced, the next person that woos is going to jail. That was an announcement from the Houston police. And this guy must have gone on the elevator and went to the 10th floor and just went, woo! And it looked like the Keystone Cops. They all went flying. It was one of the greatest nights ever. It was just a blast. You got to go. We can't.
You
we
have to
cannot
go to
tell you enough.
WrestleMania.
Go to WrestleMania. You're going to love it. You're going to enjoy it. I wish I could go to Vegas. I don't have the money right now. So
Well,
this
if I went to
podcast
Vegas-
takes off.
If I went to Vegas, I would lose my money.
Right, exactly. This is just excellent. What else we got to talk about? SmackDown. Which show you like better, Raw or SmackDown these days?
I would see. That's a tough one for me because I think
They move them
There's
around a lot now.
so many. First of all, the storyline on Raw right now is tremendous. With Punk and Reigns, it's great. But on SmackDown now you have Cody and Randy.
Cody and Randy
And,
Orton.
I think they should have maybe turned Cody heel, but that's my personal opinion. But no one does a heel better than Randy Orton.
Nope, I don't think so. I think the other guy that does a really good bad guy is MJF from AEW. MJF is amazing. He's pretty solid as a bad guy. And he could do a lot more than you could back. I mean, look, that's our mascot lady, who is barking for food, or what does she want down there, Mark?
Food. She wants food.
She wants
Go lay
food.
down. Go lay down, lady.
And you're going to get this. We don't care. We're just going to keep rolling.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll have to figure out how to edit it out, but if not,
If not, we're
she's a
just
yellow
gonna
lab,
keep it in.
and
She's
you'll probably hear her in the
beautiful.
future.
She can bark whatever she wants.
She
right?
also seems to like wrestling too, just not as much as us.
Yes.
Maybe she's adding her own opinion. Maybe she's a little upset.
There's two
Joey
dogs
brought
here.
up- Yeah.
The other one's upstairs. Yeah, well, that's. I think we have the state of wrestling today is really, really good. I think you can do a lot more with bad guys now than you could back in the day, in a different way. Because back in the day, Roddy Piper used to say some things that was like, nah, you probably couldn't say.
That is true.
But they would do it in a different way. Today, MJF's doing some stuff that I didn't know he'd still be able to do. But he's doing it, and he's killing it, and he's just amazing at what he does. I think he's ready. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're different than any other podcast out there, as you can tell, because we have our own wrestling historian. He's not here. He comes to us live every other week from a clandestine location. So we're going to go to him right now. I believe he's ready to go. Here is our wrestling historian.
Good evening. The name is Thomas J. Lakefield, wrestling historian. I would first like to take this opportunity to thank Mr. Christopher Mars and the brothers Joseph and Mark Scheck, part of the Scheck Corporation of Families. I am honored to be a part of this wrestling podcast, because that's what it's about. It's about wrestling. I'm here to be the final boss when it comes to all questions about wrestling. You can ask me anything you want. I'll be glad to give you my inside thoughts. And I'm sure as the weeks go by, we will get to know each other a lot better. But I just want you to know one thing. I was the guy always sitting up in church in the pew with Sister Bertha Better Than You. That's all I'd like to say at this time.
Oh, there you have it.
Wow.
Mr. Lakefield has officially signed with Headlocks and Happy Hour. I don't know whose Sister Bertha Better Than You is, but I don't want to meet her. And we're gonna check in each and every week. We don't know where he's gonna be. He's from a clandestine location every other week. So we don't know where Mr. Lakefield's gonna pop up, but it should be interesting. We're gonna learn about the history of wrestling from our guy Thomas J. Lakefield. So we'll be checking in with him periodically every other week. Brings me to a guy you brought up. I wanted to bring him up, and that's AJ Styles, just retired. Now AJ, I love AJ for a different reason. We're all going to talk about AJ, whoever stories you like about AJ. AJ Styles I've been watching since, and there's not many wrestlers I can say this, but since the independent, I had DVDs with AJ Styles on them from independent shows down at the old, and this brought another thing up to me because I want Mark to tell this story. Down at the old ECW arena here in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. That's where we come from, Philadelphia. Go Birds. And AJ, I've seen DVDs of him from, I had him way back in the day from 3PW. 3PW was the name of it down in ECW arena. I remember I saw him in another area, and I couldn't believe I watched him in the ring. I was in line to get a hot dog. I turned around, and AJ's right behind me, getting a hot dog after his match. And he was the nicest guy in the world. I told him great match, and just was such a good guy. So to see him make it to the level he did finally, and get this great retirement, wasn't it a great thing?
I thought it was great. I mean, AJ, to me, he gets it. Great athlete. Not a big guy, but because of his athleticism and how he was able to perform in the ring, he got where he was at, and I just think he was one of the best in the WWE right now in the ring.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm glad he's getting his he got his retirement, and like he said on the one interview I saw, he said now he gets to go home, and I'm glad he gets to go home, and he gets to go home. He's not really hurt, and he's going to actually
Be a
trainer in NXT.
Oh, nice. I didn't know that. Was that breaking news, Joe?
Yeah,
Or is that-
that is going to be.
Breaking news with Joe Sheck. He's going to be a trainer.
The show is unlike any other.
It's
We got
unbelievable.
A wrestling historian.
And now breaking news.
And now
from
breaking
Joe Sheck.
news.
I did not know that.
Breaking news from Joe. Wow.
That he's going to be an NXT
Incredible.
trainer. We talked to that because I wanted to talk about independent wrestling, because AJ was an independent legend before he was a WWE legend. And there are so many. I mean, you see people make it in WWE and make it in TNA or in AEW, all those things, but there are so many great indie talents that people don't know about that I think deserve to be recognized, deserve to have their moment in the sun. We'd love to interview anyone independent-wise who want to come on and talk to us. We'd love to. I've seen a lot of them down at there was a great federation called Battleground Championship Wrestling that I don't know if it's running anymore, but I used to go to almost every show. There was great indie talent like Danny Moe, who's a great female star. The Beast Man Husk, who was me and him I was too scared. But Beast Man Husk, so many great independent wrestlers that are down there that I've seen down there. And we missed this, Mark, because we're talking about our history with independent wrestling. Mark used to go to ECW at the arena. And where else?
Arena, and then so like ECW, like many people know.
Turn to our radio.
Many people know ECW with Swanson and Ritter down South Philly, but in the '90s they would actually go to rent a lot of local halls. So they used to be at the Armory on Belvoir Road. A lot of times they were at the Lulu Temple consistently. So like probably once every few months you could see matches there, and it as a fan of wrestling, it was, first off, it's a crazy experience to go at like 16 or 17. But you got interaction directly with the wrestlers, right? Like they were Sandman, Rob Van Dam, Tommy Dreamer, Shane Douglas, Chris Candido, were all hanging out outside the arena as you walk in. Sandman was having a couple cold cocktails in the back.
One of my favorites.
Rob Van Dam was doing some other stuff. What
was the other stuff?
He likes it was cigarette in nature.
Yes.
But it was awesome. I mean, but I could tell you like some numerous times. I think there was a stretch there that like as much as we went to the show, we never got to a complete show because some of the fans got a little rowdy and.
That was my next question.
So
Mark was involved in a very. I don't think he started it, but he was involved in a very famous riot.
Riot.
Was that at the arena or at the?
That was
Lulu?
actually Belvoir Road. Yeah, very.
Tell what happened, how it started, who got knocked out.
Yeah, so one of the matches, obviously the way it is. So the matches are, when you think of matches like the Temple, is kind of like your random gymnasium, right? So you have the entranceway where the fans are pretty much there, right? And you have like the guardrails that you can get access to. And I think Tommy Dreamer and like the Dudley Boys were coming back from a match, and sure enough, I think one of the fans tried to push one of the three. I didn't see who, but next thing you know, like the wrestler hits the fans, and next thing you know, somebody throws a chair. And when somebody throws a chair, somebody throws a second chair, and a third chair, and a fourth chair. And a fifth chair, and like I didn't know there were that many chairs in a building. So at 16, like I'm scattering against the wall because if you're flat against the wall, you're not getting hit from a chair from overhead. And next thing you know, like multiple township police departments are there, and you're outside in the parking lot, like standing next to like Rob Van Dam and the wrestlers, just like waiting to go back in, and it was crazy, like, and that's the part where, like, you think those, like, what are those fans thinking? I'm assuming alcohol was on their top of their mind on that one. But yeah, it was interesting story. And the best part of that is that match was actually the night before Thanksgiving, I think in 96 or 97. And I remember not telling my parents that story. And remember going to Thanksgiving at a relative's house the next day. And my uncle made something to my dad, like, hey, did you hear in the news about the riot at the Belleville Road? And you could hear my dad in the other room, like, Mark, weren't you there last night? Oh, what are you talking about? So one of those type of incidences, yeah, but good story to tell. Like, luckily, I thank God I didn't get hurt. But yeah, it was entertaining. But again, I didn't realize, hey, you know, that many chairs could be in a room. I didn't realize some people could throw chairs that far. So yeah, bit of entertaining. But yeah.
There's an old basketball player, Kevin Mutombo, got arrested, so that's a no-no. Never fight a wrestler, throw anything in a wrestler, jump in the ring. I don't know why people do it. I think it's stupid. And you're going to get your ass beat.
And you deserve to get your ass
You
beat.
deserve to.
Yeah, do stupid things.
That's what
stupid
happens.
problems. There you
That's what
go.
happens. You think you're in the
Yeah.
business, you know, that's what happens.
Listen,
And we thought we were in the business. We got out of it.
Yeah, we actually had St. John's security when we were in it.
So we
were
did.
fine.
We referenced this before. So we did a charity event for our parish, where we were the wrestlers. We knew these great people in, I think they were
Marcus
from
Hook.
Marcus Hook, Pennsylvania, beautiful part of town, and they had a ring, real ring, and they would set it up, do the, you know, and we were the matches, and we all were dressed as our favorite wrestlers, or we were we made up wrestlers off of our favorite wrestlers. So Joey loved Edge. So he was the limit, and that's the other side of the edge. Mark was the
We were,
Mark was the franchise because he did like Shane Dudley. He did like Shane Dudley.
we were the. So at the time, like, loved Ric Flair, and I loved Shane Douglas, and Shane Douglas went by the franchise.
Yeah.
And we were the bad guys, so we had a group called the Faction, and we kind of modeled it off a bit of Shane Douglas, is his crew, and then Ric Flair. Like, he'd come to the ring in suits,
Yep.
cut promos,
Yep.
and then we would go back and we would wrestle later that night. But yeah, so like I was.
Then they go to a hotel, have tons of girls.
Yeah,
All over
woo.
them.
Yeah.
And I was the white Kamala. I had painted my face. I had the big belly with the thing, slap a stomach. I was C model. My name's Chris with a C model, and I had a shower curtain, loincloth. And we did it a number of times. We raised some good money, and we had a good time. And that's when we got hurt. And then I really got hurt because a good buddy of mine, the great Joe Spinks, who's another great professional athlete, just like ourselves, got in the ring and he's beating me up. He throws me in the corner. As he tosses me into the corner, there was a divot, and I had bare feet. So I tripped over the divot and went head first. And it looked like I was going into the turnbuckle. I wore the post, but I put my arm up to stop it, and I stacked my arm like a pretzel. And the guy dressed as Hulk Hogan drove me to the emergency room. Still in character, mind you. And we pull up, he goes, brother, we need a hospital bed, brother. I'm like, all right, drop the character. Well, I need a bed, my arms are two. So we walk in, and yeah, the door's open. Let me get ahead of my way. Door's open, and the whole emergency room staring at me, dressed as Kamala. And the security guard was like, what were you, skateboarding? I'm like, yeah, I was skateboarding, dressed like I was wrestling. Like, that was any better. And of course, once again, Mimi Tunney showed up, my mother, and she was there and gave me shit, and that was the end of my wrestling career. And as our good buddy Marty Miller told me, Marty works for the WWE. Shout out to Marty. When you're an idiot, leave that up to the professionals. You shouldn't be wrestling. All right.
Yeah, I mean, the highlight of that story has to. Obviously, this was like maybe 2 minutes into the match, so we still had to finish the match. And when, so at the time, it was the Faction versus C-Mala, Joey, the Ultra Hulkamaniac, and who was the fourth?
It was Jeff Mann. Was it Jeff Mann?
No, the Faction we had three. It was 3-on-3.
3-on-3.
Yeah.
It was 3-on-3, and then
We left Joey for dead.
Left Joey, and the Faction pounced, and we pounced.
They beat
and,
the hell out of
we pounced.
I was going to the emergency room and I watched Joey getting pounded.
And
with
honestly,
feet.
that was the plan all along. Like, the Faction ended up ruining 2 careers that night, and Ultra Hulkamaniac, wherever you are, you're still on the Faction's list today.
The Hulkamaniac's still out there, even though his hero is going to the great beyond. This is a segment we're going to turn to now where we talk about wrestling news. What we have here is the wrestling news jar here. And I'm going to pull out, I'm an old man now, I got to put my glasses on. I'm going to pull out something about the news in wrestling, and we're going to talk about it. Let's see what we have here first. Okay, this is something, this goes into Monday Night Raw. That's big enough, I don't even need glasses. And Roman Reigns and CM Punk, their promo work as of late.
Phenomenal.
And we're going to go around and talk about it. Your thoughts on CM Punk and Roman Reigns.
Phenomenal.
Promo.
Phenomenal right now. It's just, it's so good because it makes you feel like it's
Real.
real. Like they really, and who knows? They might really hate one another.
It looks it.
But it's just so well done, and I first of all, I think Roman is just tremendous on the microphone. Just so, and Punk gives it right back to him, and bringing the Usos back into it. I just think it's a great overall storyline.
Who do you think has the upper hand on the microphone, CM Punk or Roman Reigns?
I think Punk,
Punk does, yeah.
but I think Punk does because
He's done it more.
yeah.
Yeah, see, I'm not a Punk guy. I like Roman Reigns. I would say, yeah, I would say, to me, it's Roman. But I think, yeah, I mean, I think those promos are fantastic. I think that storytelling is incredible. Like, I think the way they're going about it, where you think, hey, do these guys legitimately hate each other? I think you saw that, right, with CM Punk and Seth Rollins, right, kind of taking that thing, like their promos. But yeah, I just think I think it's fantastic. I think when they kind of open up on those like personal level comments, right? Like I think it makes for so much better TV, right? And their reactions to it and all. Like I think like it really is. I think it really steps the product up, right? And I think, you know, with Roman having the schedule that he does, right? Like, and when they're together, it's truly must-see TV.
It is a attraction thing, they say,
Yeah.
when those two are together. I love it because wrestling has been exposed, and so you think everything's been done. But then when they take it to that level of nastiness, when we talked about his dad being dead, and you're going to bury next to your dad, and then you get the family involved. It's like what we say is wrestling is a male soap opera. That's what it is. It draws you in. You can't wait to see what happens next. And yeah, it's just really it pumps you up. I did have exception with Roman saying that the only reason CM Punk's back is to get virgins to watch again, because I've been watching for a long time. All right, so not all virgins, but no, I've been late a long time. But I just think it's better. It just makes it so much better. I love the Samoan family getting involved, and even the wrestlers when they pass away. You even have his dad involved, who was a legend. I mean, I used to be scared to death of the Samoans when I was a kid. So I just think it's great work, and I can't wait to see what they're going to do at Mania. It's going to be an unbelievable night. Let's see what this is. I don't even need my glasses because I wrote it. Oh, we talked about this a little bit earlier. We're going to talk about it again. Randy Orton turning bad. I don't like saying heel or face because I feel like I'm not like in the business, so I don't want to use the terms. You guys use the terms?
I did. I already did. I think.
I mean, to each his own. But he turning bad against Cody Rhodes. Now, you guys think Cody should have turned?
I think Cody should.
I don't like. I think the way Cody is right now. Like, I mean, first off, like the elephant in the room is Cody has the movie Street Fighter coming out soon, right? So like, I don't think they're gonna,
Breaking news! I didn't know that either.
I don't think they're gonna play him bad for that movie. I think he's a good character in the movie. But I also just think I think Cody's fantastic, but I don't think Cody's a bad guy. Like I think when you look at I think Randy Orton can play both. He's a fantastic bad guy. I think to me what is incredible about that turn is go, and I don't know if this is decided yet, but going into that, I before Cody won and it was like Drew versus Randy, I would have thought that Randy and Drew were going to be the Saturday night main event for WrestleMania. Now that you have now Cody's back in and Randy is a bad guy. I mean I think you can make legitimate arguments of like who tops each show, but like I think honestly like I think it was just it's fantastic. I think the other thing too is Cody plays a good guy really bad like that. You know when Randy's beating him and the blood and that like
You get sympathy.
he sells it so
Yeah.
well. You know he's already got the kid reactions too, right? With the when he gives the belt out and stuff, like it just makes.
He's a
Yeah.
perfect good guy.
Yeah.
It's like Cena. I could never see Cena bad, and you saw how bad that went. It didn't really play. So
Yeah.
so you want to break back to being good. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that's his role. I think Randy Orton is the best bad guy I've seen. Because he played, not only does he play a bad guy, he plays a sick, twisted. Like he could be a killer in a movie. He could be.
He's
That's
got
why
like,
I think Rhea Ripley the same thing has that, and I think she's going to be in Terrifier 4. Is that correct? I don't know.
Yeah, I think. I mean, he's
But-
got like, and I'm. This is not a great comparison, right? But he's got like that Jake the Snake kind of like ring
Yeah.
psychology bad guy. And,
Yeah.
And
Sick,
yeah,
twisted.
You're like,
but he's even more like he scares you a
Yeah.
little bit.
Yeah.
Like he's rubbing the blood and staring at the blood, and you're
Yeah.
like, whoa.
he's a
Yeah.
bigger guy. Like,
Yeah.
It's
Yeah. I think it's going to be. That's another match I can't wait to see at Mania.
yeah.
I'm going to go around to my fat finger. Hold on, there we go. Let's see the next one. Oh, we're going to talk about this, especially for Eagles fans. And we don't like them anyway. Tom Brady. Tom Brady, you got some balls. Put on my glasses for
And he
this.
flipped the notebook page.
All right,
You
and I
know,
flipped the
his business
notebook
here,
page
he
here.
took notes for
You got
this
some
question.
balls, Brady.
He took notes for this
I don't know
question.
who you think you are, except you have a hot wife. She's gorgeous.
Not anymore.
They're divorced.
Oh, good, good. I'm glad, Brady. How about this? Tom Brady called WWF fake BS. All their staff is all their stuff is so fake and scripted. Says if he had a good O-line, offensive line for others who don't like football, they would punch them in the throat, and they wouldn't even get near him. What do you say about Tom Brady's quotes?
I mean, listen, like, I would have thought that the comments about, like, who's tougher, like, ended kind of in grade school, but, I mean, I don't know. I think just, it's so much ignorance. Like, it's just ignorance. For one, Roman Reigns played, tried out for the Vikings. So did Brock Lesnar, right? Like, you have guys that have legitimate athletic backgrounds in certain areas that transition to wrestling. You also have legitimate fighters like Kurt Angle. It's true. He won a gold medal with a broken freaking neck. I mean, you don't really get tougher than that. And I think, you look at their athleticism, you look at like what they do, and I mean, again, we don't like saying the F word here, but like these guys are like stunt doubles. They do their own stunts, and
And it hurts.
It hurts. So, but like it's ignorance. Like it just is. It's ignorance. It's something you don't understand. I don't know why you would comment on something you don't understand, but hey, listen.
The outcome's predetermined, but how they get there is very, very different, and it hurts. They beat their bodies up. They do it for the fans. That's why I think they're the greatest entertainers.
Small mistake.
You're done.
Your career's over.
Now, Lawrence Taylor is one of the greatest football players of all time. Fought Bam Bam Bigelow. What WrestleMania was that?
Ooh.
I don't remember. 10?
Seven?
7?
Seven or
No,
eight?
no. That was after that. I thought it was 10. I can't remember which one it was. But anyway, we'll have to ask our wrestling historian, Thomas J. Lakefield.
Yeah, write that down in the book for questions.
But anyway, and he said it was the hardest thing he's ever done, including football. He said after the end he was so gassed he couldn't get up and walk out.
He couldn't. He
So,
sold.
and you saw him, the wrestlers had to pick him up and take him out of the ring. So Tom Brady, you don't know what you're talking about, and I'll fight you, all right? Well, that won't. You'll probably kill me, but still. I just think it was wrong. I don't think you should be talking about wrestling. I'd like to see you in the ring, Mr. Brady, against Obafemi. How about that guy?
What if this is all a shoot?
Yeah. What if they have us and he's in the WrestleMania?
Yeah, what if and it ends up with him versus Logan Paul at WrestleMania? You heard it here first if that's legit.
Breaking
right?
news if that happens. We're still falling for everything. All right, here we go. All right, AEW. Is it too violent? What do you think?
I think if you watch the pay-per-view on Sunday with MJF and Hangman Page.
And he had put a syringe in the guy's mouth. Like,
He
this is
hit,
in Kensington.
he hit him with a.
For those who don't know about Kensington, Kensington's a neighborhood in the Philadelphia area. I love how we're acting like anybody else is listening around the country.
Yeah, I would Google it. Yeah.
He hit him with a light bulb.
A light
Twice.
bulb. Look, we used to see it like
I know, but that's what I mean. We're shocked now. And we watch it on ECW, right? Like,
they did, but it wasn't on like network television.
No,
I think
like-
it was kind of like, or it wasn't on
Wait a
Flash.
minute, you're telling me Channel 48 at 1 o'clock in the morning wasn't
Right,
wrestling?
that's true. It was on
Wasn't
Channel
that
48
on
at 1 o'clock. in the
TV?
morning. I don't know. I think I was just shocked with the syringe to the mouth.
I'll tell you what, though.
And it was really went through his cheek, or did it not, right?
Oh, I think I did. So
I mean, you have to be pretty committed to say, yeah, you know what, I'll take a syringe to the face. I don't know. So, too violent? No? We don't know. Who cares? All right. This is a great segue because we're going to talk about actually one of my favorite women athletes. I got to say, I do love her. She made an appearance in AEW at the pay-per-view. Ronda Rousey. Rowdy Ronda Rousey, as I would call her. What do you guys think about that?
I don't. It does. I understand it if it's a one-time thing. She's got a prize fight with Gina Carano in May that I think they're self-promoting. I think there's a few other people on that. I think like Mike Perry is facing Nick Diaz. And a few
I'm actually going
others.
to watch that. I'm looking forward to seeing that.
I
'Cause I love Ronda.
don't know why. If it's true that she's self-promoting, why it would be an ongoing thing with the potential of getting injury, right? Like they're self-promoting it. There's probably a lot of they're probably set to make a lot of money from that deal. It doesn't make sense to me. I also this is like hey, and I like MJF, but this is the issue. Like, and I love Edge and I love Christian. But like those guys leave to go there to be like tag team champs, and I feel like those guys sometimes. And listen, I would do it too. If you paid me to do St. John's again, we would do it. But yeah,
we
I
didn't
mean,
get paid last time.
No, we didn't. But yeah, I mean, sometimes it's hard. Like, is it a payday? Right? Is it a payday? And good for you if it is. But like, yeah, I mean, but. If it's a one-time thing and she's going to use AEW to do it, because again, the
As a
nature of
promotion.
yeah, I mean,
I don't think she should fight before her fight. I mean,
no, I
yeah.
don't think so either. But it would make sense. Like looking at the option, right? Like WWE isn't owned by McMahon anymore. It's owned by TKO. TKO also owns UFC and Zuffa Boxing Promoting. So like, technically they're a direct competitor. So yeah, I mean that makes sense. If it's a showman thing. I don't understand why there's rumors of her signing yet. Weird, yeah.
A little odd.
the only thing I will say, if they brought her in, and it's going to be more than a one-off thing, the girl she went after is a perfect
Yeah.
storyline.
Tony
Because
Storm.
Tony Storm is just
She's amazing. She's a beautiful girl.
unbelievable. I think, I don't know, I think the girl who was wrestling Tony Storm, Marie Shafir, used to be in UFC too. So I don't know if there's a connection there between her and Ronda, and that's why they brought her in. But look,
It was a shocking moment, I think. Maybe it got him on the news. It got AEW some press. Maybe that's the reason. I don't know. I'd like to see her back in wrestling because I enjoyed her in WWE. I
Yeah.
thought she did a great job. And I think she's awesome. I love Ronda. We've got two more news things to go. What's this one? Oh, this is one of Mark's favorite wrestlers of all time. So Gunther. Gunther, ladies and gentlemen. Gunther is... might not have an opponent for WrestleMania. Rey Mysterio looks like he's out. He's some kind of bruised rib. There's talking about maybe... Who would you put with Gunther for WrestleMania?
Is anybody else thinking about retiring? Apparently that's his thing now. Right?
Oh, Gunther!
I don't.
Gunther. Let me write Mark's address, Gunther.
I don't listen. I don't get the retirement storyline. And listen, like, hey, people take my opinion, whatever, grain of salt. I don't get the retirement thing. It makes zero sense to me. Like, I didn't understand the Cena. I didn't understand the AJ Styles. Like,
Yeah.
I don't
He's just
understand.
retired.
I don't. And this is not it. This is not a knock against Rey Mysterio or anybody. But like, I don't like. It feels like it's a failed push, right? Like, that's who you're pushing him to WrestleMania. Like this guy was a world champ, and now it's kind of like, it's like, yeah, I almost think like he needs a gimmick reset. I never got the gimmick, but again, you know, I know people like different things.
Yeah, that's people. Wrestling's like a mixed
But
bag.
yeah, I don't know like who are the top.
These guys don't like my new favorite wrestler.
Oh yeah,
They don't like. I love Danhausen.
He can retire him. I'd be fine with
No. I love Danhausen to me. His comedy gold. I love
That'd be
it.
a great
I'd be
story.
fine with that. Yeah.
Let him retire that guy.
Let him retire
No,
that
you're
guy.
You're all cursed.
Yeah, let him retire that guy.
That's my
Let him
guy.
retire. Yeah.
Danhausen, I love you, buddy.
Let him be
You
the
can come
first-
on the podcast anytime.
I got an idea.
And
Gunther
curse-
versus
curse.
Danhausen, the first match Saturday night.
No.
He gets retired by 6:05.
No, Danhausen is comedy. He's great. He's tremendous. He's funny. I love him. Gunther, I don't know. Gunther's a great athlete, a great wrestler.
Don't you
But I'm
think
more of a
Gunther
gimmick.
needs-
Yeah,
don't you
I'm
think
the
he
same
needs a
way. I
manager?
think like listen, I think he's a great wrestler. He's got, but like I don't get the gimmick.
Give
Don't
like
you
an
think
I'm
he's
a-
a
animation
better
to kill
I
him.
think like
manager?
listen, I grew up with the gimmick guys, right? Or if you didn't have a gimmick, like you could talk on the mic. I don't think like he's got great mic skills. I think he's perfect for.
He needs a
like,
Heyman.
He needs a Heyman. Yeah. He needs a
Which, by the
Heyman.
way, on a side note, Paul Heyman, in my book, and I said this before we
Great
started,
minds.
one of the greatest, not only mine, one of the greatest performers
Yeah.
wrestling has ever seen. That guy is absolutely money. He's brilliant. Everything he does is just amazing, and he's committed to the part. And I just think that's amazing. We'll move on from Gunther before Mark gets his ass beat with any more comments. All right. Oh, we're ending on this one. Woo! We're not, without getting political. We don't do politics on this show. We don't do it. We don't do it. You will get thrown out of the pub or the watering hole. Should WWE cancel Saudi Arabia shows with everything going on over there? Would you? Well, let's put it this way: would you feel safe going over there as a talent?
Probably not right now.
Yeah, I don't think with what's going on right now that's probably a good choice. I understand why. I mean, listen, TKO is a publicly traded company. Like I do know that there are Saudi investors in that area, right? I do understand that they're a global company looking abroad, but like in the light of like what's going on, I would definitely be looking to move those shows in the interim, right? Like I think you could justify like WrestleMania is there next year. I think you could pull back your shows there now and kind of do a build up to that show next year. And
If
do it
not,
really
bring it
different.
to Philly again.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
would love
Philly,
it.
Philly take it. Philly will take it.
But I don't. Yeah, it's WrestleMania in Saudi Arabia is weird to me. Nothing against Saudi Arabia or anything, but it just.
I agree.
I know it's like I said, we've all been there. It's people from all over the country going.
Yeah, I don't think a lot
don't know how
of
many
them
Yeah,
are-
but I don't like, and this is
Too
the
long
thing.
a
Like,
flight for-
I think, but for me, like, it's just to me, WrestleMania should be a North American thing, just for the time difference.
Yeah.
Like, just because, like, it should be a Saturday and Sunday night type of thing. The time difference, right? It's going to be in the afternoon. You're going to limit the thing. Listen, for this year for WrestleMania, if it was this year, like, I'd be on the side of it watching my daughter play volleyball. Like, yelling at the volleyball team, and hopefully Gunther's
And
right
Gunther.
third. Yeah, exactly. So there you
Gunther.
go.
I'm gonna need a shot on that note, Mark. I'm gonna need a shot. A shot of what my favorite thing. A little bit of bourbon. I think I'm gonna take a little bourbon on that note because we're gonna talk about it. Well, that's it. That is our news portion of this podcast. And guess what, folks? That's the end of the podcast for this week. This has been our initial Headlocks and Happy Hour live from the Wrestling Watering Hole. Mark Scheck, Joe Scheck. My name's Chris Morris. Until next time, we wish you health and happiness, and we'll see you next time at the Watering Hole.